This meeting is being recorded.
Welcome to the Racing Social Cheltenham Festival preview. Me and Harry tonight. Dawn's going to join us shortly. And straight away, we've gone straight on one of the big guns, Cheltenham Festival winning jockey, Mattie Batchelor. Mattie, 2005. Do you remember it like it was yesterday?
I watch it every day. Of course, I remember it. I'm just waiting for when's the big guns arriving.
Straight off.
No, it was a great day. It was, yeah, I was blimmin' hell. It was ages ago now, but it was. Do you know what he was going there with obviously a real live chance, and he was going to run in what is now the Brown Advisory, was the RSA. And we didn't think we'd get into the novice handicap, so we had to declare for the RSA, and then wait to see and pay the fine to sort of not run in the RSA. And yeah, got into the handicap, and yeah, I think back then a lot of the previews Carl Llewellyn was doing, because I'd rode against him on. Do you remember the All Solly McGann, Ella McGann?
Yeah.
We sort of had some battles, and one battle in particular was up at Wetherby. And we went an absolute million miles an hour for 3 miles. And like, he pulled up, he beat me, and he was like, oh my God. He said, how fast did we go there? I said, yeah. I said, but look behind us, how far clear we are. And I think every preview he done, he said, if this horse runs in the novice handicap, it will win. So yeah, he tipped it up big time.
No pressure then.
No pressure. Yeah. I was just pleased to get the ride, to be honest.
I actually sent the race to Harry earlier and Dawn, and I watched it myself. And you were giving it something from the very beginning, weren't you? And he jumped like an absolute dream down the back straight. Yeah,
he was. I mean, Bradstock's always like their horses from the front. I mean, Carruthers, Ponygree, they all ran from the front. But we did. He was a great jumper, but he was so clumsy. I mean, it was a long story, but basically, first 2 runs over fences, he fell because he was clumsy. And then I'd got dropped off it, and it was wondering who was going to ride it. He went up north, and none of the northern jockeys, they all sort of had 2 Fs by its name. And they said, like, they gave the Bradstocks another F, said, I'm not riding that. Like, and so they had no choice. They had to let me ride it. And then he ran okay, finished second. And then, yeah, we done a lot of schooling with Yogi Breisner.
Yeah.
But that day was absolutely phenomenal until he jumped the last. He jumped the last.
I can ask you about the last. What happened there? I can't believe you got back up.
Oh, he'd been absolutely foot perfect, and he even jumped that well. But as I say, that's what I say when he's clumsy. If you look at it, he lands and he half trips himself up, and he does well to stand up, because he knocked me off balance, kicked my irons out, and then I looked like Andrew Thornton going up the home straight. But he went again and won, but it had its advantages, because I won a Leicester Ride of the Year, so I got one of them on the fireplace as well.
I was going to say, if none of the viewers have actually seen that ride, for me, it's one of the best rides I've ever seen, mate. Whether, I don't know what, obviously you're going to say the opposite, but I thought it was absolutely superb. So if anyone's got a chance to watch it, please do.
Yeah, I think you can get it in black and white, can't you?
I'm going to say, it's a long time ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a long time ago, yeah. I love living in the past.
Yeah, you got to, haven't you? You got to.
Of course you have. The future's looking horrible.
Harry, you looking forward to Cheltenham Festival?
Yeah, absolutely buzzing, mate. Some of the best 4 days of the year. Hopefully win a few quid, have a few beers when we get down there. But hopefully all the horses get back safe and sound and put on a good show for us.
That's it. If the horses go wrong, we can always join Batchy in the best mate, can't we?
Yeah, I'll be there, boys. Come on over.
So if you don't mind, we're going to start off with the opener, the Raw, the Supreme Novices. Back up before Dublin Racing Festival, this was looking, what everyone was saying, one horse race, Festival Vega. And he kind of got his copybook, Matty. Is Festival Vega still the one to beat, in your opinion?
Do you know what? I watched the Dublin Festival race, and as soon as they jumped off him and High Definition, like, as a jockey, you watched a lot of races, and I thought to myself, they're going some lick here. They're going to be hard pushed to keep this up. And then obviously High Definition made a mistake and unseated, and Festival Vega sort of fell away, and Illatep went on one, and you just think it's had an hard race for no reason. But I mean, if a horse can't get over that in time at Cheltenham. All going to the festival and all its form. To me, it is still one to beat. I mean, it should have enough time to get over what it's done at Leopardstown. I mean, there's plenty of time. I mean, people are hype on about it, but to me, I mean, listen, if you've raced there in Leopardstown, you're either going to win easy or you're going to have a race put up to you anyway. So you're prepared to have an hard race.
Yeah, definitely.
And you run in that race because you know there's enough time to go to Cheltenham, whatever the outcome. So to me, yeah, if Facile Vega turns up, he takes a bit of beating. I do like Marine Nationale with Barry Connells. That looks right. He'll attempt to beat Facile Vega. He's jumping did improve a hell of a lot at Leopardstown, but it needed to. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the English, we probably don't have a lot. You've got Tumorous, the one the Tolworth of Paul Nicholls is. For me, the horses that win a Tolworth at Sandown will possibly, maybe wrong, they might. I don't think it'll have enough toe to beat Facile Vega when you're winning at Sandown, I think they need to maybe step up in trip rather than going 2 mile on the old course at Cheltenham, which is a lot sharper than a Sandown. Yeah. And the other horse, it didn't really, the Charlie Longston horse, which disappointed the other day at 100. Rare Edition. Yeah, that was looking promising to go to the Supremes, and it got beat fair and square at Huntingdon the other day, and it didn't. It looked quite moderate in my book.
I agree. Harry, would you say the Supreme's going to Ireland?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to Ireland. We haven't got the best of horses this year. Does look wide open in the prices, but I do think it's sort of a favourite here. Listening to an interview that Willie Mullins did, say similar to the bumper, drop him out, just give him a bit of cover. They're going to go a little split up front. And if he can just get a toe into the race, play him late, let them go up front. 11-4. Previous to the Dublin Racing Festival, it's 5-6. If it would have won that day, they'd be looking at 1-2. So the current 11-4 on offer, if it can get dropped in, get a good toe into the race, it should be there for all to take. I would like to play high definition, give him one more chance. Currently around about 10-1. Only negative is the jump in, and it is probably going to get played up on the top end, so it is going to have to do with the speed. But like I said, Facile Vega is the one that you all have to beat. You're getting a much better price. Should it win? Yes. But in my opinion, Ireland have this race.
Okay. Matty, what do you think about Lucia? She was to rock up here, the mare.
Who, sorry?
Lucia, Nicky Anderson's mare.
She looked very impressive the other day at Exeter, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. She could be potential.
Do you know what? I honestly don't think she'll rock up there.
No.
I think she is near on as I think a better chance will be in the Mares Novice, to be honest.
Okay.
I think she'd go there. Do we think Gaelic Warrior will go Ballymore?
I don't think it
comes. Yeah. I mean, he looks good. Yeah, I don't think Lucia. I'll be very surprised if she goes Supreme. Very surprised.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if she turns up, she obviously gets an allowance being a mare. I mean, yes, she would have a hell of a chance, but I find it very hard to believe that she'd go for the Supreme.
Yeah, okay. Talking of mares, Dawn, I was just telling Matty and the viewers about your little incident chasing mares into the other field tonight, hence the late.
Yeah. a very heavily pregnant Connemara mare who likes to stick her heels in like any good woman and took a lot of coaxing to even step over the fence with a lovely cow farmer who helped me in the dark. So yeah, it's been a mare of a day, but like as they say, you tell God if you want to make him laugh, you tell God your plans, and that's what happened. But I'm look, better late than never anyway, you know, like any good woman, better late than never.
Fancy for the Supreme, Dawn?
Oh, you know the story. I don't give up. I came on when Harry was saying it, and it made me smile with a lot of glee. You cannot give up on Facile Vega. One blot. That's all on his copybook. One blot. And we need to give him credit. We need to remember everything good that he's done. They did say he was lame afterwards, and Willie said they went at a stupid pace in that race as well. I'm not saying the winner, Ile Tomps, it was time. It was time for that horse to win, but I cannot forget what Facile Vega has done. I look back at Dublin Racing Festival last year, and I call him the horse with the Midas touch. And if people know, the story of the Midas touch, he turns everything to gold, but in the end, he turns to concrete. So we'll say that little blot at Dublin Racing Festival was the concrete. He'll go back to gold. I even went back again because I was trying to just freshen my brain on him to make the best case possible for him. And Embassy Gardens, who we seen at Thurles, was fifth to him at Leopardstown. And Embassy Gardens is winning at like 35 lengths, which is ridiculous. You've Sangor Clegane, It's What Unites Us, Ashrow Diamond. Look, there's all that in there. There's a big discussion about American Mike now. I don't know, where do we go from here with American Mike? High Def, I see where people are coming from with High Def, but I say wait for Aintree. Aintree is his. I say that now in advance. So I've gone around in a waffle circle as per usual, but Facile Vega all the way, and I've got that video waiting. I've got it waiting. I've got it ready to go. He will hack up in the Supreme. He's the Supreme Dream. Lucia, she doesn't go to the Supremes as far as I can tell. And Gary Gaelic Warrior, he's Ballymore bound. I wish he'd stay away from Champ Kiley, but he's definitely Ballymore bound.
Okay, Facile Vega, all the rage. So moving to the Arkle now, which for me is probably one of the races of the week. I think the panel's going to be split here. I know Harry's a big fan of one of the horses, and me and Dawn the other way. Batchy with Ireland, Alfabiolo, Britain,
Not
John
at
Bond, or
all.
elsewhere.
I have been a John Bond fan since it finished second in last year's Supremes. I watched the Supreme, and then a couple of races later, we went down. No, the next race went down to the Arkle. So I'm walking down the chute with Aidan Coleman, and I said, "Oh, run well in the first." And he said to me, he said, "Batch," he said, "I've never gone to the second last in the Supreme Novice Hurdle and thought nothing in the world is coming past this horse because I'm absolutely traveling like an aeroplane." And he said, "I went down to the last," he said, "and then I saw this thing come by me." He said, "That horse is an absolute aeroplane." And he said, "And mine is an aeroplane." And ever since that, I'd sort of watched him, and then as soon as he started jumping fences, oh gee, it's just a joy to watch. The way he jumps is unbelievable. He's been foot perfect. And you know what? And Warwick, everyone was sort of, "Oh, I'm scratching my edge." Why the hell are you scratching your heads? To me, that has just enhanced his chances the way he done that, because you're in a two-runner race. Now, you two-runner race, jockeys, you ain't going to go out there. Harry Skelton is not going to give John Bond an easy time of it. No way in the world. So they've gone out there. They're thinking, Aidan Coleman's gone around. They're thinking, right, we'll have a school round. I'll make my own run in. Job done. Pick up the prize money. So then Harry down the back has gone, right, this is it. This is where I'm going to make the move. I'm going to put him to the test. He's put his gun to his head. He sent on his horse and put John Bond under pressure, and he coped with every bit of that pressure. His jumping didn't falter. When he was in deep, he was in and out quick when he asked him to come up. And the horse was just asleep. He woke him up. He was going away at the end. To me, that is one of the biggest certainties of the festival.
Well, that confident, Batchy, yeah.
Absolutely, 110%. That wins the Arkle.
Really, yeah. You got me worried now because I fancy now Fabiolo.
It doesn't. For me, he didn't. Daryl said, "Love Daryl to the bits," but he said, "Oh yeah, he made one mistake in Ireland, and that was probably my fault." To me, he made a few more errors in Ireland. He made a couple of just just novice mistakes. And if you're coming up against a horse of John Bond's jumping ability, he's going to come under more pressure, and it will find him out. And I think John Bond will jump him into submission. I honestly do. But I have been proved many times wrong.
That is a worry, because mistakes around Leopardstown you can probably get away with, but obviously you know better than all of us. Mistakes around Cheltenham, you can't, can you? Especially at festivals.
There's some tricky fences round. I mean, I've never rode around Leopardstown, but I've walked around it. The fences are nicely presented. You've got the ones coming at home; they're all sort of on the incline. They look nice, and yeah, Cheltenham's it's a different prospect altogether. I mean, listen, I know Warwick's a flat track, but you've got the fences down the back come at you thick and fast, and that's what impressed me more so the last day when he come under pressure and he ate them fences up still. So yeah, for me, I can't look beyond it. I mean, Dynamo, you'd have to respect him, because in last year's Supreme, he was looking like the one who's going to finish closer to them two, and maybe he has got the speed, and maybe Cheltenham, I might be corrected, Cheltenham might suit him as it's a sharper track, and he has got plenty of toe. It wouldn't surprise me if he was in the each way money.
Okay. Harry, I think Batch covered everything for you there with your the apple of your eye, John Bond.
Yeah, I know I've chatted some waffle, but Batch has just brought everything to light there. Like Peter, like announcer Pete would go 13 to 8 and easy money. Napa the meeting, best horse in the race. I think if the Irish win the first, you might get 15 to 8, 2 to 1 if he's on a slight drift. And like Batch said, to go to Warwick, it was basically a school till Harry Skelton thought, oh, you know what, I'm going to try and knit this. Just look how he goes away at the line. He powers through it, struggles to pull him up. I just can't see it. It's the nap of the meeting. Jumps like a gazelle, so fast. Even when he's smart, puts in a little one. He's just so fast away where some horses would stutter into it, take a few strides to get away from the fence. He's bred for it. He's in the sexy colours. Cost an absolute bomb. What more can you want? Nicky Anderson, JP, the Gazelle, 13 to 8, easy money, Napa the Festival.
Okay, another strong vote. Dawn, you going to fight back for us?
I am. I'm still El Fabiola all the way. I like the sound of jumping into submission, Mattie. I mean, who doesn't love a bit of submission? But the two of them together coming up, up the hill is going to be what you want. You want them to scrap. And John Bond, people were very unfair with the Kingmaker. I really think they were. You want a horse to fight like that, and the way Mattie is saying it, he fought back and he took, and he could only beat what was in front of him. And there was nothing in front, there was nothing behind. But El Fabiolo, listening to Mikey Fogarty last night about him, he said he was an absolute beast. He's powerful, he's strong, he's a powerhouse. Like I said before, his head is as big as my body. I don't know how he maneuvers that big body. So you kind of go, well, big horse, but a big horse coming at you like that. And you've got so much good form in there too. You've Calixia, Zanahir, Flame Bearer, Impervious, the Goffer, who I quite like during the week. That Irish Arkle, we discussed that so much still. I dream about that Irish Arkle, and I think it was one of the best races you were going to see at DRF. If you weren't excited about El Fabiolo after that, you'll never be excited. When he had that 19-length win against Colonel Mustard, he's like his dad. And I'd say Spanish Moon was a bit of a monkey. He used to have to wear a cage because he'd go for his opponents. So if John Bond maybe comes and tries to push him into submission, he might need that cage. But no, I'm El Fabiolo all the way. But Mattie, you've got me head twisted. You do have me head. I'm not feeling as confident, but I'm still going to stick. I'm loyal. I'm loyal and honest, babe. I'm sticking with you, El Fabiola. But I wouldn't be upset if John Bond won.
Okay. Move on to the Championship now. And this definitely probably going to twist your head, Dawn. Constitutional, obviously, need we say more? He's the one horse, spoke about with Jay, a friend of mine, is the one horse who seems to be easing down but pulling further ahead. Never seen anything like it. And you touched on it earlier, Batch, talking about Aidan and John Bon. I mean, to me, no disrespect to State Man, but everyone going into the Supreme thought John Bon was going to be a threat to Constitution Hill. And he was until Nico pressed the button. I think Paul Town and State Man are a threat to Constitution Hill until Nico decides, right, that's it. We're going to go and win the race. He can't be opposed, can he, in any way, shape, or form? Can he, Matty?
I don't think so. I mean, obviously now I am allowed to have a bet. So he will be the second leg of my treble with Jean Bon. And I think that is a great forecast bet as well for Constitution Hill and State Man. And listen, I just think you're looking the best value in this race. I think you're just looking for each way money and each way chances. I mean, and I'll probably look at he might run in it. I like to move it. He might give it a go. Twiston Davis. He's not scared of having a go at him. And you know what? At the price that he is, he's about 14s to nick a third place. I think he's a bit of value. But yeah. To me, Constitution. I listen. I know it's boring, but the horse. I can't speak highly enough of him as well. As I say, when I watched that last year's Supremes, you knew you had two special horses, and once you knew they was going to split, I thought whatever way they went, they would. So he's done it for a reason. He's going to win the Champion Hurdle. Jean Bon wins the Arkle this year. Next year, Constitution Hill wins the Arkle. Jean Bon wins the Queen Mother. Job done.
Okay, nice and simple as I thought it'd be. Dawn's dressed in the colours, Matty, as you can see.
My man. Yeah, my man. That Morgiana last year now, and it takes a lot to excite me. A lot to excite. When I say that, I know I get very excited about everything, but that did. And when they slashed his price to pieces, State Man, the Ginger Ninja in the Morgiana, I stood there and I just went, wow. And he just makes you go, wow. Now, I have not seen, and that is why my Botox money has gone on the Tuesday of Cheltenham to see Constitution Hill, because I want to see him in the flesh. I want to smell him. I want to feel what you all feel. So, and after seeing yesterday when he done his piece of work and Nico was there in the fluorescent, was I a little bit shaky? I was. But to go back to, I'm loyal and honest, babe. I'm going to stick with my Ginger Ninja, because you have the Morgiana, then you've got Christmas as well, and then DRF. He was hacking along, and he's not used to being out in front. So for him to run like that at Leopardstown out in front was bleeding deadly, as we say over here. Massive each way play. And I was dug out on Twitter, and you know what's coming.
Know what's coming.
The horse that owes me Botox money from last year's Triumph Hurdle, Pied Piper. I cannot disregard what was either. And I do think he could have been third at Dublin Racing Festival. I really do. I think he's only coming into himself. And he did win at Cheltenham in October. So at 66-1 for a little bit of each way value. Call me crazy, call me bonkers, but I believe in that other nice looking. He's not going to get near the first two boys. He's not. Vauban, I'm not feeling at all. I'm not. For some reason, I'm just not feeling him the way I did last year. So Pied Piper at an each way play, but the two boys, Con Hill, the Horsegasm, and the Ginger Ninja, eyeballing each other right up until the end. And whoever wins, we'll all be pleasant and nice to each other. And you can cry on my shoulder, Joe. A whole week of national mourning after it.
Oh, I don't think that'll be happening. I'm confident. Harry, you're in the main man's camp, aren't you?
Yeah, got to be best horse in the race. Nice to see that we're retaining the faith of Constitution Hill. Say the double with the Nicky Anderson pair, John Bon in the Arkle, Constitution Hill here. He's running back 2.5-1. Sensible bet if you just fancy, say, 20 quid on. Like I say, you got three options. You put it in the double, you go and collect straight after. or you don't watch the race, queue half an hour for a pint or go for a slash, or you just sit there without having a bet and just watch a cracking horse race. Simple as that. But like you say, Constitution Hill wins. Don't even have to bet to get your balls tingling about this one.
You're right there, mate. Oh, you're Winston in pain then when you moved over.
Is there someone beside you?
It's the hip.
Oh yeah, blame the hip. So do I.
God. I've got a new one, Dawn. You missed it. I only had 2 weeks old.
Yeah.
Oh, can we see?
All right, keep it PG.
Look.
If you want to stay on afterwards, Dawn,
Oh, lovely. Yeah, well, you see, I'm officially #1 racing creep now, so I need a good look. You know, jockeys just and hips.
oh, there we
Jesus.
go.
That's
There we
something to
go.
look forward to now.
There we go.
Best night ever.
Mares Hurdle, shaping up to be one of the races of the week. Where do you stand on the Mares Hurdle, Matty? Should they be running the Champion Hurdle, or is it a good addition?
Do you know what? Honeysuckle can't win a Champion Hurdle. I think that's a given. She's won a Champion Hurdle. Now, I'm looking at it purely and simply from an owner's point of view. If you're going to Cheltenham, you put her in the best race possible that you can win. I'd have no doubt that she'd get placed in a Champion Hurdle. Because I absolutely love her. I think she's brilliant, and her and Rachel together. I mean, I was screaming the loudest when they won the Champion Hurdle when she's won in Ireland. I think there's nothing better than seeing a real tough mare, and she is that. So, listen, the owner pays the bills, and if you're going to go to the Mares Hurdle and go off favourite and take all the beating, then why wouldn't you do it? I don't blame him at all. I mean, listen, Matt Chapman has got his opinions and says, she shouldn't be allowed to run in the mares. Why not? Of course she should be allowed. You should have the choice where you can run her. And do you know what? If I was the owner, I'd be doing exactly the same thing and run her in the mares. It's a no-brainer. I mean, you've got obviously Marie's Rock. I mean, they were talking about she might go. She just said she might go to the Stayers. I don't know. I just think the mares might be. I mean, the Stayers is open, but she is quite.
Stayers, if she does go Stayers, does that mean Nikki's quite confident in Epatome?
Again, yeah. I mean, that's going to be a hell of a race. So, I mean, you'd probably want to split them two up, and you'd say out of the two, Epatome is going to be a better sort of runner in that race, wouldn't you? I would have thought. Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, to me, she's just got that. She looks like she's got a hell of an engine, Marie's Rock, but she is a live wire. She is a bit of a live wire. She does take a bit of settling. Do we honestly know? Does she really stay 3 mile easy? Do you know? You've the furthest you've gone is 2.5. Now, an extra 3 furlongs. That's only an extra 3 furlongs. But when someone like her, she does run with the choke out a little bit. You've got to be a little bit careful, and that's why I just think I'd love to see Honeysuckle, because it looks like it might be her swan song, and I'd love nothing better there to cross that line in front.
Does Ground rule out Love Envoy? Need a bit more cut, doesn't she?
Possibly, but I wouldn't be surprised if they run it. You know, if they want to go there, they go there. I mean, I know Noel's very quiet, unassuming, and then you've got his partner in crime, Cross, who is polar opposite. You'd hear him before you even see him, and I mean, if he says it's got to run, I mean, I remember the interview after Chimuris won the Tolworth, and they were saying I think they was asking Paul, where do you think you go? And he was he wasn't 100% where he's going, and Cross, he was like, yes, he's going to the Supremes. So That was it. He was going to the Supremes. So listen, if Love Envoy's going to, if Crossy said Love Envoy's going to the Mares, she's going to the Mares.
Yeah.
I'll ring him up in a minute and ask him. You'll probably hear him.
Crossy's a good lad. He seems a good crowd. Never met him. He seems a good lad. How are you fancy for the Mares? Honeysuckle?
Well, it's got to be really 9 to 4. You're taking a more than fair price here. People saying she's on the decline. She's still one cracking racehorse. And I say, Cheltenham, the fairy tale ending on the swan song. It'd be magical to see, wouldn't it? Really, they'd be piling 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fall back in the parade ring to see her come in. It's just one of those. It'd be an absolute swan song. 9 to 4, more than a fair price. If you want at a bigger price, Dawn could tell me I'm absolutely stupid here. But tell me something, girl. Been running over fences of late. Mixed results, hasn't been jumping the best. 16 to 1, has form around the track. Couple unlucky results. But 16 to 1 with the places on offer. Say, Honeysuckle and Tell Me Something, Girl. They both line up. Could be doing worse off.
I think it does like revolve around Honeysuckle. She isn't the horse she was, but does she need to be to win this race? Probably not. The Rail Keel from Rees Rock form doesn't stand up for me. They were just Rail Keel is just a funny race every single year. I wouldn't take that form literally at all. Epton is the interesting one for me. I know people will say she hasn't beaten Honeysuckle, so why is that going to change now? But even behind Constitutional, she has looked in pretty good form. I do think the ground is in her favour. I think Epton's going to take all the beating if she rocks up here, which she needs to be supplemented for. But what's the supplement this year? Is it £2,000, Matty?
I think you're talking about £2,000. Yeah, I mean, listen, that's
what,
just
£2 for JP?
Well, JP will find that in his ashtray in his car when he £2,000 in pound coins or euros. Sorry, yeah.
Euros, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the
euros,
exchange at the moment? We're 88 cents or pence or something.
To
So be a little bit
JP,
extra.
it's probably a euro. It's probably £2 in England.
It'll be a never mind, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Be a never mind. Yeah, exactly right.
Dawn, what can you tell us about Brandy Love? Obviously beaten on a seasonal reappearance the other day. Does she come into the reckoning, or is it all about Honeysuckle and Epton?
Well, the Donnellys haven't spent that money for no reason, have they? They're going over there mob-handed, and I wouldn't give up on her. I wouldn't. Willie said she did not like going right-handed the other day. And I always go back to, and we discuss this all the time on the pod, that race at Fairy House when she bet Love Envoy. Look at the mares you have behind. Like, you've got your Dino Blue, we've Night and Day in there, and Impervious. Yep. So how now, after one run, after 10 months off, can we say she's not as good as we thought? Oh, we'll forget about her. We've fallen out of love. We want Brandy instead of Love now. Look what Willie did. Willie did this in 2016 with Annie Power, and she hacked up at Cheltenham. So I think there's method in the madness. He was very, very vocal that he was happy with the run, and he was very, very vocal that she just didn't like going right-handed, that the left hand is going to suit her. I thought she looked absolutely incredible for a mare this time of year. I could see my face in her. In saying that, Queensbrook, I have to give a lot of respect to her too, and I can't forget her second, and they were over the moon, and she loved the ground at Punchestown. So she's 12 to 1. I wouldn't forget about her. Brandy at 8 to 1. But you know how much I want this. You know how much we all need this. It's going to be a collective love-in for Honey. I mean, we cannot forget 16 races. And she wasn't disgraced in the Hatton's Grace. She wasn't disgraced. Like, the people at Leopardstown, I've never seen any horse being clapped in like that for a second. She is just, she is the out and out queen, and we will talk about her in years to come like we talk about Dawn Run. Okay, yeah, we'll have some experts say, well, she's not Dawn Run because she didn't do what Dawn Run did. So what? She did so much and more, and still does so much more. And what her and Honey do for her and Rachel do for racing is just incredible. And there's this fascination. You just hear whisperings in the crowd, oh, it's honey, it's honey, it's honey. And that's what you want. And that's what makes you get up in the morning. And Harry, you know yourself, like you were saying, we will be 10 deep to even see a nostril hair, should it happen. And should it not happen, we will still be 10 deep to clap what has been an incredible journey with this mare. And that's my speech. I'm going for Taoiseach, as they call it over here, in a couple of years. I love honey, and a little bit of Brandy Love on the side, because Brandy Love, I think she's a bit like me, but honey, all day long, all day long. Everything inside me wants it to happen.
You probably shouldn't have said that last bit, Dawn. I don't know if Batch is aware, but the Brandy Love that most people know is scared to click on Twitter.
I'm familiar with her work. I'm familiar. Yeah. She is very good. Very good.
She's my screensaver.
She's my idol.
You're my idol now, Dawn.
Brandy Love for Dawn. Be so cool. So National Hunt Chase. I'm not playing Willie Mullins bingo this early. Who's going? Galad de Manil, Ramillies, any talk in Ireland, Dawn?
Galliard de Manil for sure. Ramesses, I think we're still playing Cheltenham Roulette, which I'm glad about because I want the two boys separated. Yeah. And that race that was taken off Ramesses at Naas, Willie and myself were both fuming over that day. Fuming. I'm not taking away from the other horse, but I think they were a bit harsh that day, to be honest. So we both have a love for one of the most aesthetically pleasing horses in race, and Galliard de Manil. It's one of the French horses that I can actually pronounce too, in a horrible Dublin accent. But I mean, look, he's third in the National, third to Mighty Potter. Okay, his run wasn't fantastic last time, but I think we say he needs the 3 miles, don't we? We often say he needs the 3 miles. You've Bob Ollinger in there, a bit of form, Capodanno form, who, you know, we were all dying to see Capodanno, and we still have belief in Capodanno. And that Drinmore this year I thought was excellent. My 5 to follow horse, Adamantly Chosen as well. I'm marking him up at a big price during the week too. But Galliard de Manil, if he doesn't win this, I'd be so disappointed. I really would. And Chemical Energy at 7 to 1 because of what he did. He was 65 lengths back in was it October? Yeah, he was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he comes back to that. He was 8 in the Martin Pipe last year. So he's a bit of value. And Tiger Roll won it in 2017. So Gordon's going to be eager to win it again. But he's not a great price, but Galliard de Manil for me, I'm so happy to see him in the race and away from Ramesses. So I'm not going to be split, and Chemical Energy at a little each way play.
Yeah, Galliard de Manil for me as well. If he rocks a bit, I think it'd be tough to beat. But also Jonathan Sweeney's Churchstone Warrior. He's worth keeping an eye on him. He's a little terrier. He's a true stayer, and I think he'll really come into his own over this trip. But who do you like in the now not 4 miler?
I mean, yeah, I echo everything about Galliard. He's I think he is a genuine Grade 1 horse running in a Grade 2, and he's 11 to 10 for a reason. And I do like Mr. Coffee for a bit of value. He run there before he goes to the National. He was second last year in the King Muir, so I think he'll get another big run. But yeah, I think they've all got to go to beat Galliard. To be honest, as you say, he looks like, if you go through most of the horses, he's class definitely sort of sticks out, definitely.
Yeah, and is Patrick Mullins, I presume, is he due to take the ride? Does anyone know?
Yeah, I think Paddy's up. It'd be the right decision, you know. Who else? If it was me running, I'd want Paddy up. So there you go.
Once, if you get the phone call, Batchy, we're running out of jockeys for the festival with these bands, aren't we?
I'd be at the bottom of a very, very long list. It's funny. We were in this we're in this group, and there's a few of us old ones who've retired, and one of my mates said, he said, this carries on, Batch. He said, I got to ride over the national fences, but never in the national. I always wanted to ride the national. I said, this carries on, Batch. He said, you'll be able to ride in national. You get your license back out. And then Richard Johnson come on and said, what about you, Diggy? And he said, yeah, he said, I'll be happy to take a ride in the bumper. And I went, do you know what? There is the voice. There is the voice of reason. I said, yeah, I'll ride in the bumper as well. Sod that, right back with it.
There's only so many new hips you can get, isn't there?
Well, exactly. I mean, I'm very grateful and appreciative of the IJF. They helped me get my new hip, so I don't think they'd like it if they saw me lining up to run in the Grand National. I think I'd get a severe phone call.
Definitely. Full house, Harry, Galadumaniel.
Yeah, just one of those. 11 to 10 now. Probably go off around about a 4 to 6. You'll be getting all your punters who's desperate for a little bit of cash at the end, getting a good 4 when it passes through the line.
Okay. Have you anything for the Ultima or the Boodles, Harry?
I'll be lying if I said something going to Boodles, to be honest with you. Quick 2 in the Ultima, 300 through 5, Nichols, around about 9 to 1. Running okay in the handicaps, shook him with a run. I know Nichols said, will he go for the national this year? He said he's a better tight gun to next year. Should have a chance in the places online. A few people's been tipping this one up. Oscar Elite for Joe Tizard, 10 to 1, as former last year around the track. Got off, I think, in the grade 2 at Ascot last time out. Much better jumping display. Cobden gave him a really good ride. So there you go, 300 for 5, 9 to 1, and 10 to 1 on Oscar Elite with the places.
Okay. The 2 I had for the Ultima 2 weeks ago have both been pulled out, but the one I do like is Nassalam for Gary Moore. And I just want to ask you, Batch, about a horse called Next Destination. I want to know what you thought about a 728-day layoff, but he has since moved to Nicky Anderson's yard. And if anyone can get one ready for the festival off that layoff, it's Nicky Anderson, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but it's a massive layoff. It's to go to a race like that and turn up, and I mean it'd be amazing training performance. It would be, but that for me that is just you do need. I mean, you can blow the cobwebs off. To me, it's like riding. When you have the summer off as a jockey, you'll get into the gym. But there's nothing that can emulate that racing scenario. And I think it's the same with horses. Unless you're, I don't know. Listen, I don't think it's Nicky's way to sort of go hire a point-to-point course and set up 10 of his horses and go around there, do a racing scenario. I've never heard it done before. I think that's the only way you can emulate that. And I don't think it would have. Listen, it'd be amazing if it comes off. But yeah, I just think it's just a little step too far. I don't really have a lot of choice in the Ultima, but the Boodles, I do like. I don't know how you pronounce it. Don't want to tell me the Joseph O'Brien horse, Nuzret or
Nuzret. With the help of God. Yeah, with the help of God.
Yes. Come over and won the Adonis the weekend at Kempton and won it well. And if you look at his form, I mean, third behind Lossiemouth, that's good enough. I mean, Lossiemouth, to me, wins the Triumph. The run at the DRF was, listen, it was just one of those things I know he got sort of a bit slated for the ride, but as a jockey, I don't care what jockey you are, whether you're Paul Townend or you're someone further down the food chain, when you're in that given situation, you've sat on Lossiemouth, you're travelling as well as can be. Your stable companion's made a mistake, and there's been a concertinaing effect that's come back to you, and you've lost ground. So all of a sudden, your first instinct in your mind is, I've still got to win this race. So a certain amount of panic does set in. But the way that Lossiemouth came round the outside and still made up all that ground, I just think that's good form. He looks like he's an improving type, and I think Cheltenham suit him. I honestly do.
Okay. Dawn, I think me and you've got the same Boodles horse. So I'm going to let you talk about Cougar. I know you're a big fan.
I like Cougar. Yeah, I do give out about him, though, Joe, for what he did. Remember, I told you at Christmas, I thought he made an absolute heap of that race. I think Nuzret would have been closer, even though Lossiemouth and Galamarcou were there and there. He's still got his jewels as well. So we're seeing a good few of them. We've got High Def, we've got Nusret, the Jew with the jewels, and we've got Cougar. And it doesn't seem to be, you know, it's as much as people try to pick and say, oh well, a colt, he's always going to be minding himself. Well, Nusret showed the other day he wasn't minding himself at all, and he got a absolute belter, I think, at the third, and still came on. Even though I got into a bit of a fight with someone else about, oh well, Perseus Way was unlucky. Well, Nusret was unlucky too, and you know, he's got a little bit extra to carry in between his legs. Anyway, we'll start talking about such times in jewellery. Do I like Cougar? I do like Cougar. I love Biker as well for the Boodles. I think he is class. I think the other day at Nace, he could have got closer. I really do. I banged on about him a good bit. He was 12s. He's now 8s. There was a lot of talk about him last night at the Chelt preview night I was at. And for the Ultima, this is where Cheltenham Roulette does my absolute skull in. Worse than the ex. Adamantly chosen, right? He's in the Ultima, but he's also in the Turners. So what do I do? Do I go both ways? Am I split? I don't know. I'll do my, you know, he's my 5 to follow anyway. So Adam has always been, like, I know him personally, Adam, you know. Second to Mighty Potter, and Brian Hayes said he thought he was going to win the race. And I mean, I was screaming down DRF for him to get past Mighty Potter. And that was me going against my own trainer. And he was second to Jerry Kalam. And I mean, we think Jerry Kalam is the second coming. He's the full package, and he belongs to the people who used to own Adamant Approach and remember how good that horse was. So I really like him. I like Punitive solely because of his run at Fairy House in the absolute mush. And Jevray, a little shout out to Jevray. There's a bit of Dad's Lad form there. You know the way I always go back to Dad's Lad form. He is running at Cheltenham, I heard last night. Thanks be to God, another Ginger Ninja. And yeah, I like Jevray. I seen him in the Up the Yard race 2 weeks ago. Katrina Bulger, who does the Boss's Oscar, she rode him. And I thought he was going to beat the very man. And I think that has set him up nicely for the Ultima. He is a whopper at 50 to 1, an absolute whopper. So if Adam, adamantly chosen, goes to the Turners, I'll be having a little fiddle on Punitive at 20s or Jevray at 50 to 1. 50 to 1 merely out of interest purposes, but also because of how well he ran for Katrina. And Katrina is a very, very good rider, and she gave him an absolute stormer. So yeah, adamantly chosen. Wherever he goes, I'm having a bit of him. Punitive and Jevray, little each way play. Now we finally got there.
I think that Paul Nichols trained Affordoo is worth mentioning. The Boodles. Musselbury is very good. Last time out, forget that. Paul said he just had to run and just getting qualified. And Paul, I understand, he's leading trainer in the Boodles with Gordon Elliott. I think they're both on 3 each. And Nichols looks like he's assembling a pretty good festival squad this year for the first time in a fair few years, which is good to see. Batchy, just before we go, you mentioned your treble, you Constitutional John Bomb. Who was the third one? Was it Galadriel or was it elsewhere?
No, it wasn't Gallup de Mille. It was a bit of an outsider, and I was going to go for Statler in the Gold Cup.
Yeah.
I just people listen. People know that it's a hell of a difference running 3 mile and an extra 2 furlongs up that hill in the Gold Cup and 3-2. I love Galloping Deschamps. He was a very good winner last year, apart from what happened, but he is very pacey, and for me, Statler will be hard on his heels at the last. I think it'd be very interesting up the hill, and I just think he might outstay him. I might be wrong. Galloping might have too much toe, but there'd be no horse better staying on up that hill, I don't think.
Okay. And who's your strongest selection for day one, would you say? John Bond, considering the prices?
It's John Bond and Constitution Hill double for me.
Okay. What about you, Harry? You mentioned you were something similar.
Yeah, John Bond, and then if you fancy the double 2.5, John Bond and Constitution Hill.
This is on, Dawn. You got to nap your friend.
Who's state man and throw in a little bit of honey.
You got to stand with him.
Oh, I stand by my man, definitely.
Strongest selection, state man and honey double.
Honey, and Brandy Love to come up the inside, but honey with all my heart. And I stand by my man, state man, but Con Hill, I'm dying to have a smell. Get right up in there. You know what I'm talking about.
Look at Mattie's face.
He does smell amazing, doesn't he? Though,
So we'll be back tomorrow with day 2. Mattie, you might be joining us, you might not. No pressure. Yeah, here with Noah Houlihan, who we've got on. Be great stuff to have you. If not, no pressure at all. No worries.
Does he want his comfort blanket?
I think he needs his comfort blanket. Yeah.
And a signed copy of Brandy Love's DVD.
Yes. Yeah, I'm more than happy to pop on if you want. Yeah, not a problem at all.
Harry, Dawn, thanks once again. And viewers, thanks for watching, and join us tomorrow for day 2. Thanks for watching and good luck.